Hey guys, Ambience here. Today I'm going to be showing you how to beat Funtime Foxy in FNaF VR Help Wanted. This mode may seem tricky at first, but compared to the absolute steaming dumpster fire that is Plush Baby, it's a welcome change. Foxy might be weird and a bit poorly explained, but there's actually an incredibly simple trick that you can use to get past him quickly and efficiently. The blacklight version does make things a bit weird, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. So this minigame is basically ripped directly from Sister Location, at least on the surface, when you had to cross Funtime Auditorium during Night 3. However, it actually works quite a bit differently. Foxy isn't really repelled by the flash beacon anymore, so you can't just spam it whenever he comes into view. In fact, doing that will probably get you killed. Instead, you'll be following a very brain-dead pattern. But first things first, let's just talk about the basic setup. You're in a large room, and Funtime Foxy will appear in the doorway at the far end of it when you start to move. You can actually move with the joystick or thumbstick on your hand controller, or the W key or whatever. Your goal is to get to the door that Foxy came out of without being jump scared. Most players get relatively close, then Foxy starts guarding them like an NBA player, and they just run around in circles until they die. This is a pretty common problem. It's hard to make forward progress while also dodging around Foxy, and that confuses a lot of people. Thankfully, there is a way to guarantee progress while also avoiding him with minimal effort. All you have to do is count your steps. Yeah, I know impersonating a Fitbit doesn't sound like too engaging of a strategy, but this is crucial to making sure you don't overstep and get jump scared. The magic number here is 8. As long as you don't go further and go in a smart direction, you should never die. While moving, look down at the floor so you can count your steps easier by looking at the tile. After 8 steps, stop moving and flash the beacon. Make sure to look up so you can see where Foxy is, then adjust your steps around that. You should just be able to walk in a straight line early on. You can actually walk like 10 to 15 steps right off the bat if you want. Just make sure to flash before you get too far in. Just hold W until you're satisfied, then look up and flash to see Foxy. If he's far away, you can walk 8 steps in a straight line, then flash again. Repeat this until he's relatively close to you or veering to a specific side. At this point, the goal is to drift away from Foxy while still making progress. This is when you start doing something that I call splitting the steps. Basically, you'll take 5 or 6 steps in a straight line, then 2 or 3 diagonally drifting to the opposite side of where Foxy is. This should be enough to get you away from Foxy while still making significant progress. If you walk into Foxy or use the flash beacon in his face, then you're dead, so it's best to get away from him before using it again. Sometimes he'll get extremely close to you and you'll have to focus on moving away first. You can do this either by swapping the steps and moving diagonally first and then straight afterward, or you can just spend almost all 8 steps going diagonally. Either way, prioritize dodging Foxy over making progress, but still try and get a bit of progress in there toward the end so it's not completely wasted. To summarize, count 8 steps, then stop and flash, take a few more when he's far away if you want to. When Foxy is close, spend some of the steps moving diagonally away from him. If he's on your left, go forward and right. If he's on your right, then go forward and left. I usually prefer taking 5 steps forward and 3 steps diagonally, but if he's closer, feel free to move diagonally more. Avoid using the beacon in his face and prioritize not running into him while still trying to make some progress. Once you get within close range of the door, he'll no longer be able to follow you, he'll just despawn, and you can walk the final stretch uninterrupted. This should lead to a fast and safe victory, although sometimes Foxy will start pathing worse than a recalled GPS and just start appearing in front of you constantly. Remember, this is not a timed mission, don't panic and keep playing it safe until he finally gets out of the way. I do want to make it clear that this isn't a cheat sheet or anything that'll just autopilot you to victory by taking 5 steps forward and 3 diagonal. It does require some situational awareness, and you will have to adapt based on where Foxy is, but this basic strat will give you all the tools you need to get an easy win. Just be careful and don't be afraid. The blacklight version really isn't as bad as most people think. Foxy is replaced by Lolbit, who may be slightly more aggressive. I can't fully confirm that. The only major difference is that the room is filled with clones of the Funtime animatronics who will kill you on contact, making navigation a lot trickier. Stick to the 8-step strategy, but this time keep a close eye on your surroundings and try to memorize all of the nearby animatronics when you flash the beacon. They'll never move, they're completely stationary, and they have pretty small hitboxes, so keep that in mind. You can get really close to them compared to what you might think. You can also see them in the dark if you're close enough, so that can help. If you need to dodge Lolbit, but you're cut off by a clone, then there's no shame in walking backward a bit to get around them. You'll lose a bit of progress, but it's worth it in the long run. Anyway, unless you get terrible RNG, the middle should be mostly clear, so try and stick to there as much as you can. Just remember to stay away from the clones and backtrack if absolutely necessary, repeat the exact same strat, and you should be good. Lolbit actually barely changes anything at all. Well, that's all for now. Pretty short guide. Follow this strategy and you should be able to beat Funtime Foxy with ease. This is typically regarded as one of the more complex and difficult levels in Help Wanted, but as you can see, it's actually quite simple with the right strategy. Do you think this night deserves its brutal reputation, or is it way easier than you initially thought? Let me know in the comments. Speaking of which, if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below. If you'd like updates on what I'm doing next, feel free to join the Discord server for all the latest on upcoming videos, streams, and collabs, a chance to just chill with other FNaF fans, or even to get help on a night that you're struggling with. It's linked down below in the description. If you enjoyed this guide and you'd like to see more, please consider leaving a like and subscribing to the channel to show your support. I know it's the classic YouTuber plug, but it really does help me out. Let's try and hit 30k by the halfway point of this year if we can, and I'll try and get as many guides as I can out soon. With that being said, thank you guys for watching this guide. I hope it helped you, and I will see you in the next one.